Fam Review. Hey guys, WRLD-EATR here. Today we're going to be looking into a new familiar for our familiar review, and that's going to be Eucalyst. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's come over here and check out this NPC real quick to check out our schematics. Just type in Eucalyst, and of course Eucalyst will only pop up if you have their schematic. If you don't have the schematic, don't trip. I'll go ahead and show you where to obtain the schematic as I go through this video. So first off, we're going to go ahead and click on Eucalyst here to check them out, and then we'll go ahead and check out the rest of the schematic. So Eucalyst comes with a base kit of plus 15% electric damage, plus 20% dual strike. Checking out the stats, we can see that they have a decent amount of stats in power and agility, with stamina being their lowest. What build do I recommend for Eucalyst? I always recommend putting on nothing but empower pumps if you already have a good amount of dual strike. 20% is a very solid amount. That's 1 out of every 5 hits you're going to be hitting twice, and he does have a lot of multi-hit in his skills, so it's already a very solid amount of dual strike. You could always put 1 dual strike and 2 empower, but I highly recommend 3 empower if possible. I know 3 mythic empower should equal to, I believe, plus 45% empower. So that's 45% empower stacked on top of the 20% dual strike and 15% electric damage, which is very strong. For the chip, I just recommend anything that really gives some additional damage. Obviously, whatever you have would work. So just something that gives bonus damage, especially if it's something like the higher the health they have, you do more damage. It just means that you're going to hit really hard right away. For the brain, I recommend when you hit brain, when you hit brain, whether it's defensive or offensive, I like doing something with like an attack team or attack closest if possible. So if you have something like that, that's perfect. And for the bone, I'm just going to slap this one on, which is your first attack on an opponent deals a percentage extra damage. I like doing that because it just makes your first hit chunk really hard. It's very strong. You can do the one that helps you get SP, whichever you like. Honestly, the bone doesn't matter anywhere near as much as the pumps and brain do, so just whatever you're feeling. Let's go ahead and check out these skills. For their 0 SP, they have a deals electric damage to target enemy and to random enemy. That's already a multi-hit ability. As a 0 SP, very solid. For their 1 SP, they have deals electric damage to the furthest enemy 2 times, extremely solid as well. They have another 1 SP, which is awesome, especially whenever with the DPS familiar you want to have a lot of options, so it's cool that they have 2 1 SP abilities. They have a spread heal and deals electric damage to strongest enemy. Now that one's really good because you do a good amount of damage to the tank as well as heal your team, making them kind of a hybrid style DPS, which is very nice, especially for an early mid-game familiar. Let's go ahead and check out their 2 SP, which is deals electric damage to all enemies. Honestly, one of their best abilities, especially because there's dual strike. If you do put more dual strike on this will help proc your brain a lot more. So this is a very good ability. Just be careful not to proc anyone's pets or brains when using this ability. Use this ability with caution. And for their final ability, which is a 3 SP ability, is deals electric damage to target enemy 2 times. Very solid, especially because it has multi-hit. It is kind of niche seeing as it is a 3 SP ability, but it's still extremely solid, so don't sleep on that ability either. So yeah, I recommend using the first 3 attacks because they just seem like the best in my opinion. They have a lot of multi-hit and they have a good amount of sustain with that 1 SP. I also recommend using the 2 SP. Just be careful not to proc any brains, and the 3 SP is going to be for dire situations only. Let's go ahead and take a look into the schematic here. Here it's showing that you need 1 Flixie. Let's check them out. Flixie. Well, familiar, they got a lot of their design from this familiar. As you can see here, Gorbin's Rockin' Ruckus. If you click on this here, you can actually find it just by going here. It's like a little shortcut, and you can click on the little treasure chest and see that it is a tier 10 raid. Seeing the drops here shows it's tier 10. So that automatically shows you where to go. If you want another way to check it out, you can just go to your raids and then look for Gorbin's Rockin' Ruckus right here. Go to summon, go to the chest, and there you go, you're 10. And if you look through these schematics, you'll see here that Eucalyst schematic is right here. So this is one of the 2 locations you can obtain the Eucalyst schematic. There's only 2 spots. and they're both in a raid. One is in Gorbin's Rockin' Ruckus, and the other one is going to be shown to you here shortly. So let's go ahead and check out the schematic one more time. And we have Bassitron. Bassitron, let's go ahead and see where they're located. So if we go to Minions of Tyrannus here, you can see in the drops table that is a tier 12 location. So that's pretty awesome. And if you look through the schematics, you can also see that Eucalyst schematic is a drop in this raid as well. Let's go ahead and go back to the schematic here, and you'll see that we have Vitos. Where do you obtain Vitos? So you can't click on it to get a shortcut, unfortunately, but I'll show you right here. You go to your raids, you go to Minions of Tyrannus, and you go to Summon. You click on the drop table, and if you scroll down to the rare drops, you'll see here that Vitos is an option. So this is the only location for Vitos. You're going to be farming this raid quite a bit if you're farming for Eucalyst, especially if you're also farming for Elatis. What I recommend doing is if you have Elatis in your sites, you might not want to build Eucalyst, and the only reason why is because it'll just keep you here for a long time. I highly recommend if you're going for Elatis, you make Penguita. If you're going for Eucalyst, you make Glarzados. That way it's a lot easier for you to spread out your resources and move up faster. You can use your world boss for Glarzados along with your energy, of course, and all of your raids can be used to farm for Eucalyst. And if you want to do something like Lattice and Penguita, then you'll have to, of course, farm your raids and energy for a Lattice, and of course farm world boss for Penguita. Now that's what I highly recommend, but let's go back to the schematic on Eucalyst. And for the last part of the schematic, as you can see here, you just need 100k gold. So all in all, you're going to need 300 Vitos along with 600k gold and 6 of each epic familiar. Honestly, where do I recommend using Eucalyst? He's a very solid familiar that I think could shine anywhere. PvP is probably the only place I would say to be wary of them, seeing as a lot of people do run offensive pets when they get hit as a tank in PvP. If you guys have any other familiars you want me to go over, please leave that in the comments below and I'll definitely take a look at it. I'm starting to make more videos more often, guaranteeing one video to you guys once a week. Thank you for stopping by. This is World Eater. Have a great one, guys. Peace.